We all know basketball is this huge global business, right? A professional spectacle worth billions of dollars. So, why is it that when people talk about the real heart and soul of the game, they so often call it a college game? Well, today we're going to dig into that. We're uncovering the deep historical roots that give this modern sport its incredibly powerful collegiate identity. It's a total paradox, isn't it? You've got these billionaire athletes, iconic global brands, and yet that phrase, college game, you still hear it all the time. But that spirit, it isn't just nostalgia. It's literally baked right into the sport's DNA, and it has been from the very beginning. So to really understand that DNA, we have to go way back, all the way back to the start. Because basketball wasn't invented to become some global powerhouse. It was actually a pretty unlikely invention, born from a very real, very practical problem. All right, let's set the scene. Picture this: Springfield, Massachusetts, 1891. A long, cold New England winter is just setting in, and a Canadian PE instructor named James Naismith gets a tough assignment: come up with a brand new indoor game. His motivation? It wasn't fame or money, not at all. It was something way more down to earth. So what was his main goal? Well, he had to find a way to manage a class of what he called incorrigibles. He needed a game that was less rough than football, but still exciting enough to keep these rowdy kids busy, and, let's be honest, to stop them from causing chaos all winter long. And where did all this happen? At the YMCA, the Young Men's Christian Association. Now, this is a really important piece of the puzzle, because the YMCA back then was at its core an educational institute. So from its very first moment, basketball wasn't born in some grand stadium, but in a place all about youth, development, and learning. Okay, so the game exists, but, an idea is just an idea, right? For it to really take off and become a phenomenon, it needs the perfect environment to grow. It needed a catalyst, and basketball found the absolute perfect one in the American university system. The key move, well, it came from the man himself, James Naismith. He didn't just invent the game and then walk away. He became its biggest promoter. When he got a job at the University of Kansas, he brought his new sport with him, personally planting the seeds of basketball right in the heart of American higher education. And, as one historian put it, that's when things really started cooking. So why was college the perfect spot? Well, think about it. The schools had the gyms, they had organized classes, and they had a never-ending supply of young, competitive students. The university system gave this new sport structure. It gave it legitimacy and a passionate, ready-made audience. And this gave the college game a massive head start. I mean, look at the timeline. Basketball was invented in '91, and it was already a big deal at the University of Kansas by 1898. But stable professional leagues, they didn't really get going for decades. For almost 50 years, if you wanted to see high-level, organized basketball, college was pretty much the only show in town. So that's the history lesson. But what about now? Surely, in our world of multi-billion-dollar pro leagues, that old college connection has kind of faded, right? Well, the crazy thing is, it's actually stronger than ever, and it's all thanks to one incredible event where March Madness absolutely reigns supreme. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. In a world completely dominated by professional sports, the single biggest, most watched annual basketball event in the United States, it isn't a professional championship. It's a college tournament. And of course, we're talking about March Madness. It's this whirlwind, single-elimination tournament where 68 university teams go all out, battling for the national title. It's famous for the Cinderella stories, the shocking upsets, the last-second buzzer beaters, just pure, unfiltered passion. And look, the numbers don't lie. In any given year, the championship game for March Madness often pulls in more viewers than the Pro League's final game. That's an incredible statistic, and it speaks volumes. That cultural dominance is the living, breathing legacy of the game's college roots. So, when you put it all together, the picture becomes crystal clear. This game was born in a place of learning. It grew up and got popular at universities, long before the pros ever became a major thing. And even today, its single biggest moment of the year belongs to the students. That right there is the collegiate DNA of basketball. Which leaves us with one last thing to chew on. As the game gets bigger and bigger across the globe, and as pro players seem to get younger and younger, will this deep-seated college identity always be its defining spirit? Or will the bright lights of the pro game finally outshine its humble academic beginnings? It's definitely something to think about next time you're filling out your bracket.